The fall season is in full swing. Let's try some yellow tea. Hey everyone, I'm Sigi, and I love all things pu'er. As those of you who have been watching my videos may know, however, pu'er is not my only love when it comes to the world of tea. The other one is yellow tea, and that's what I'm here to bring to you today. We have on today's menu the Huoshan Huang Ya, both the 2021 batch that was recently sold out on nannuoshan and the 2022 batch. So this video will aim to answer the question of, if I enjoyed the 2021 Huoshan Huang Ya, is it worth it for me to buy the 2022 version? And with that, let's get right into it. I've got both here. In this one right here, we have the new batch, and in this one, we have the familiar 2021 Huoshan Huang Ya, one of my personal favorites, an absolute comfort tea of mine that I like to drink even at night sometimes. It's really good, so let's give it a smell. Yeah, it's got that sort of pleasant bit of roastiness. It's kind of nutty on the dry leaf. And just smelling this already makes me want to drink it. Let's see what the new batch has to offer. I honestly have no idea whether this is going to be like similar, maybe even almost the same, or maybe completely different. Let's find out. Okay. So while the roast on this one, or that sort of roasty kind of smell, was more in just a general nutty direction, this one in comparison is more like chocolate, I'd say. Okay. My water is ready, so let's get started. I'm using 3 grams in a 100 milliliter gaiwan, so not like a particularly hardcore ratio or anything like that, but I found that this is sort of the sweet spot for yellow tea for me. When it's around this ratio, I think it comes out in a very pleasant way, and I can also steep it for a little bit longer without like really having any issues. That's honestly one of the advantages of yellow tea in general. It's quite forgiving when it comes to steep times and whatnot. Even if you forget about it for a little bit, it's not going to punish you as much as, let's say, a more delicate tea would. Okay. While we're waiting for these first steeps to finish, let me tell you something about the price of this tea. So the 2021 batch, the one that was recently sold out, was, if I remember correctly, 10 euros for 20 grams. Usually the 50 gram price is more of an indicator, but unfortunately I don't remember that one right now. While this new one, the 2022 batch, is actually a bit more affordable. It's 8.50 euros for 20 grams, or I think it was 17 euros for 50 grams. So trying this one and stocking up on it is definitely an affordable endeavor, and hopefully one that I will be able to recommend after this tasting. Alright, first steeps are in. Let's smell the wet leaves first before we look at anything else. Okay, yeah. There's that roasty note. Some chocolate. But more of like a dark chocolate, I'd say. Dark chocolate, like walnuts maybe. But there is also a kind of vegetal undertone to this tea that I guess tells a few things about its closeness to green tea. And then let's see what this new batch has to offer in comparison. Okay. Ooh, this is nice. Okay. What do we get here? We get roastiness as well. I'd say maybe a bit less in comparison. However, the chocolate aroma on this one is just kind of straight up milk chocolate. You get something that really reminds you of that sort of creamy milkiness. And then underneath that, there's actually a wonderful layer of fruitiness. So in terms of aroma, this one is doing extremely well already. Okay. Let's pour these in. In terms of liquor color, especially now that they're both in their respective cups, I can say this one looks a little bit darker. This one is a little bit brighter. I'm not sure if it's possible to see on the camera at all because it's like slight differences. And this 2022 batch has a little bit more of a sort of green tinge to it. Okay. Let's get into the tea. I'm very excited for this. And I'm going to start with the one I'm intimately familiar with. One of my, as I said, absolute comfort teas. I like to drink this often because it's just so pleasant to drink. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the tea I'm familiar with, the tea I love. Even from this first cup, I'm already like kind of feeling at ease. Such a nice combination of flavors. Okay, and now the moment of truth. Let's see what the new batch has to offer. Ooh. Yeah, that milk chocolate aroma definitely carries over. And it's so nice. It's so, so nice. And of course, the younger version of this tea is also a bit more aromatic overall. While this one sort of gently fades out after you swallow it, this new one lingers on you a while and sort of forms a cloud of aroma between your mouth and your tongue and your palate. It's really nice. It's almost like you can sort of, I mean, you can taste it after you've swallowed it. That's kind of the whole point, isn't it? But it's wow. I'm very impressed by this first impression. Impressed by this first impression, yeah, of course. I enjoy this a lot, I think. Wow. Let's see. Second half of the first steep. Gonna start with the new batch this time and see what else is going on if I reverse the order. It's also cooled down a bit now, which might unlock some further flavor impressions. But yeah, this is just a really nice tea so far. And the lingering aroma on this new batch is honestly quite fantastic. With this one, in comparison, there is a little hint of bitterness right after you swallow, but then that immediately vanishes again. How nice. Okay. And in the meantime, the second steep should be ready. So let's pour it in and take a look. Okay, so second steep is good to go. Let's see. So I am going to reverse the overall order again. What I'm going to do this time with because obviously like the temperature between the first half of this pitcher and the second half differs a bit. So this time I'm going to have the fresh batch while it's still hotter. And think about what I noticed on the first steeps of each the last time round. All right. Maybe I want to wait a little bit longer. It's still quite hot. Okay. So that little hit of bitterness that I got on the 2021 batch of Huoshan Huang Ya also comes out now on this newer batch. And it's more or less exactly the same thing. You swallow, then there's a little hit of bitterness, and then it's immediately gone again. So nice. What a good tea. Okay, now the old reliable. So this one I would describe as being a little bit darker overall in terms of flavor. Like we had dark chocolate versus milk chocolate earlier. We had a slightly stronger roast feeling on this one compared to this one. But this one also carries some vegetal undertones that I am not really finding in this one so far. So I'd say this one, the 2021 batch, is a bit mellower overall, which I'd say also makes sense. Like it is a year older than the 2022 batch here. Whereas this new batch is more fragrant right now, which might also be more exciting to people. But one thing I can already say, both the old batch and the new batch do exactly the thing that I would want a yellow tea to do. In addition to being good tea, being fragrant, having a good mouthfeel and whatnot, to me, the most important thing in a yellow tea is that it makes me feel comfortable. Now, obviously, a metric like that or a criterion is incredibly hard to quantify. But ultimately, I think tea isn't just things that you can sort of quantify or attempt to quantify in objective ways. To some extent, how it straight up just makes you feel is also important. If a tea is really good, but like in terms of quality, but it makes you feel bad, then that tea is probably not just not right for you. And with yellow tea, it's, I don't know, I love that it's both a good tea in terms of all these things you can talk about: fragrance, taste, mouthfeel. But then it also just makes me feel really comfortable and sort of at peace. And I don't know, having that combination is just really nice. And I hope that this tea can also do the same thing for other people that try it. Okay. I'm gonna leave this last steep in for a bit longer, do sort of a power steep to see what else we can get out of this tea. But in the meantime, it's just so good. If you have tried the 2021 Huoshan Huang Ya, I highly recommend trying this 2022 one too. I'd say it is very much comparable, but you're also going to find some interesting differences. And if you haven't tried yellow tea yet at all, then this 2022 Huoshan Huang Ya batch is, in my opinion at least, the perfect entry point. Especially now that it's more affordable. Like, just pick up 20 grams if you're curious about it and you're not sure if you're gonna like it. If I made it sound like something that you would enjoy, then by all means go for the 50 grams right away. I think regardless of which one of the two you get, you might find that they're gone much quicker than you'd imagine. Wow. So nice. Okay. Let's take a quick look in here. Okay. I'm already feeling good just from drinking these two teas. And the sun is shining into my window right now in a rather intense way. Okay. Here's the final steep. I mean, not final, of course. Like, if you wanted to, these could go for several more steeps. But I have to keep the video at least a little bit shorter. Okay. So here we have the final two steeps. I can kind of hold them up again. And the color contrast on this strong steep is definitely a bit larger than on the previous ones. Okay. So while I decant this final steep, what can I say, like, in conclusion about these two teas? I think if you've had the 2021 Huoshan Huang Ya and you sort of enjoyed the cadence of that tea, being the pleasant, kind of chocolatey, kind of roasty flavor in the mouth, you swallow it, that light hint of bitterness that then immediately vanishes again, and the lingering aromas that are left behind, then you'll be able to find that same cadence in the 2022 Huoshan Huang Ya as well. They are, while different in individual characteristics, I'd say the rhythm of these teas, their program, if you want to call it that way, is very similar. And if that's a quality you appreciated about the old one, then you're also going to be able to appreciate the new one. Now, if we look at these individual characteristics, I'd say they're also quite close in terms of mouthfeel. And this one is a bit more, has a bit more sweetness. It's a bit more fragrant. This one is a bit darker, a bit mellower already. But that might also just be down to age. So I could totally see this one moving in the direction of the 2021 Huoshan Huang Ya, given a bit more time. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this last steep now, and then we'll finish the video. I think it's yellow tea as a category is, I think, something that really helped kind of open my eyes to two of the things that I mentioned in this video. One being that it is also important for a tea to feel comfortable to you, to be something that you enjoy drinking and that just makes your body feel good as well. And the other aspect being this kind of rhythm that exists within tea, that we are, I guess, again, not just talking about these kind of static characteristics, but like if we were to compare it to sorry, let's say a poem, then usually what we sort of judge, if you want to call it that way, or what we notice about a poem is not the kind of individual words, oftentimes at least, that the poet picks, but rather how the poem flows, its sort of rhythm, its meter, how different sequences of words combine to form stylistic elements, and how a sort of, also cadence is created within the poem through the choice of the sequence of those words. And similarly, in a tea like this, you don't just get those individual words, but the way in which they hit you, the kind of sequence that's created, the rhyme, the meter, all of these things is something that I'd say distinguishes one sort of class of tea from the other, if you want to call it that way, or it's something that can elevate a tea to the next level. I think that's a better way of putting it. And in turn, it can also help elevate our understanding of tea, right? Because it gives us more perspectives, more angles. Okay, but I finished these steeps. I think I've said all I have to say about these two teas for now. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to nannuoshan, leave a comment, maybe even tell your friends if you want to get them interested in tea. And honestly, I think yellow tea would be a great place to start for people with just how comfortable to drink it is. Okay. And yeah, there's more yellow tea left to try for me, so that's what I'm going to do in a future video. For now, we are done here, so I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you may be, and goodbye.